Nicholson. Maidley getting ahead to that one. Moore getting a chest to it. And now Story. Moore. Strong challenge again there by McMordy on Lee. There's no love lost out there at the moment. Lee. Story. Played for Maidley. A little chip that's just a little too firm. A little hard to judge the wind for England, just how much it's going to catch the ball. The wind firmly behind Northern Ireland still, and as you saw from Pat Jennings' kick there, landing almost in the England penalty area at the other end. Rice to Clements. Played neatly there for Hamilton and equally neatly on for Dugan. Best is in the middle, and the Dugan, Derek Dugan, just beyond that far post. Maybe he should have tried to find George Best, but perhaps the Duke felt otherwise. And so Banks with the goal kick for England. Maidley with the throw. Lee to Maidley. Lee again. Ball now. Ball who's outstripped Nicholson and almost turned that back for Chivers and got England a corner. Good little piece of acceleration there from Alan Ball coming from a midfield position. But not such a good corner, but he might get another go. Yes, he does, off Clements. So Chivers again at the near post. Maidley again has come very deep. And Peters going in on it, but in fact Hunter of Blackburn getting there first. Bobby Moore. Lee is there for England into that one, and again Alan Hunter to put it behind for the corner. Sticking at the near post, the number 5 there, and Chivers will be there with him. Clark making a run towards the near post, and Peters is there as well, and Maidley has gone right in. And finally it's McMordy who brings it away for Ireland. McFarlane with Best at him, Hamilton in close support of Best. Maidley, oh my goodness, there wasn't much room to spare there, and England playing with fire just outside their own penalty area. Now it's with Dugan to Nicholson. Aimed on the far side towards Clements, but Banks again is there first. Ball, Story, the game opening up. Chivers. Played back for Alan Ball. Clark. A glancing header by Best, hoping that Dugan was right up amongst the strikers, but Dugan wasn't. And now it's Peter Story. Hunter. To Nelson. Oh, another good one by Nelson. Will this let Ball through? No, it won't, because a good recovery by O'Kane. And O'Kane finds McMordy. Back to O'Kane again. Giving Best a little chance, but Best really making the most of it. Hamilton. Best. McMordy pleading for it on the left. Here's Eric McMordy. Attacking Story. Stopped by Moore. And now Lee. Peters. Maidley. McFarlane. And Peters again. Clark. Maidley. McFarlane. England keeping possession, probing, looking for someone who might make the burst. Here's Moore, but that's over the head of Chivers. Dugan to Clements. Hamilton. And that's a goal kick. So coming up to half an hour gone, no score. And Ireland at the moment giving a very good account of themselves indeed, particularly in defence. They're giving absolutely nothing away. Although signs in the last few minutes that England are beginning to get a little bit into their stride, with Ball sparking off so many of their attacks. Well, that's over Ball's head and straight to Nicholson. Cooper. Lee trying his luck on this left touchline, and the luck wasn't going his way there. Hunter doing well, and then playing it safe. Nicholson, Clements, Hamilton. Allowing it to come through for Rice. Dugan calling for it in the air, but off the elbow of Cooper, and a free kick to Northern Ireland. Nicholson with it. A floater, a curler, and Story getting ahead to it. Clements back over his own head. Moore. Ball. And Nicholson, the more determined of that little bunch of players. Clements now turning it back first time. Dugan poised at the far side. Dugan in fact getting ahead to it, but in fact must have fouled Gordon Banks as he jumped for it. And Banks with the kick. Oh, not a good kick again by Banks. Moore. Sammy Nelson with a throw. Clement. And now George Best. Switch to Nicholson. Curling it again towards Dugan, but Dugan can't get there with his head because McFarlane beat him by some 6 inches or so, and it was enough. England's throw. Half an hour gone, no score. Hunter, who's given Chivers no chance, and Dugan was offside. Rice carefully back to Pat Jennings. Clements. And McFarlane to nod it away again. Nicholson. Hamilton. And Story to get this one away. O'Kane to follow it through for Ireland. Very neatly finding Nicholson. Waiting for Rice to make his move, and he had to wait quite a little while, but Rice is there, skimming off the head there of Cooper. Banks losing his cap, but never for a moment losing the ball. Nelson. They must have just touched Maidley's foot. And Ireland beginning to pressurise this England defence now as Best's throw comes to Dugan. Throw now to England. Good throw by Madeley to Bobby Moore. Cooper. Peters. Well stopped by Rice. And a nice little intervention there by Hamilton. Certainly this young part-timer has by no means been overawed by this Ireland-England occasion. Ireland stealing a good half a dozen yards. And so Jimmy Nicholson here will have to come back those few yards. That's the place. Hamilton. Nicholson. For Nelson. Best. Oh, a nice little pass there by Best for Hamilton. McMordy trying a 1-2 with Hamilton, but the England defence was massing there, but it's still with McMordy. 3 England defenders there to McMordy, and England struggling still to get it away. But finally the persistence of ball gets them the way, and he finds Clark. Story. Madeley. Oh! Best with the throw. McFarland. To Cooper. That's just a little too high for Chivers, but it wasn't for Nelson, and good control by Nicholson. Slipped at the crucial moment, but even so found his feet, and on he goes. Best. Oh, what a good ball by Best, and what a good piece of play by Rice to take up that position. He's got Dugan in the middle. Oh, and down goes Best as he went hurtling in on it, with Story after him. And England bring it away now with ball. Rice hard in on the back of ball, a bad and a clumsy challenge. Best on his feet again. Now ball for England. To Francis Lee. So Jennings with the kick. With 10 minutes to go to half-time and no score. Off Hamilton's head for England's throw. No, it's got to be England's throw. Peters with it. And Peters again. Noticeable just a moment ago that the Irish manager, Billy Bingham, when England started to attack, was calling for men to come back. He clearly doesn't want them to get too enthusiastic about the pressure they're putting on England. So well aware that England are so very, very strong when they counter-attack. And there's Martin Peters with a shot that had a lot of strength about it, but not too much accuracy. But the whistle was going as he hit it for a free kick to England on the edge of that penalty area. That's when we get the ball back from the crowd. And here it comes out of the crowd. The Irish wall beginning to form in a position that could be of some danger for Ireland. It's pretty central. Clark and Lee are also in that door, close to that Irish wall. Peters is going to take it. Madeley is right up. Story is lurking too, and he knocks it side there for ball, and down goes Jennings, and in goes Madeley, but the whistle had gone. The whistle had gone. And so clearly there was an English infringement in that 6-yard area. Ball. Peters. That one certainly caught on the breeze and gave Hunter a better chance of getting it than Chivers. Madeley judging that header beautifully. Lee. To Cooper. Nicholson fighting for that ball and being obstructed by Chivers to give Ireland a free kick. And it's Pat Rice. Moore getting there before Dugan, but Ireland's throw. Jimmy Nicholson with it. McMordy. And again it's Ireland's throw. Hamilton to take this one. No, leaving it for Nicholson. Well, it looks as though he's going to try a long one. Best and Dugan are up in that area. Clements is there as well. That's aimed towards Dugan. Turned back, and in fact off the thigh of Bobby Moore. Behind for a corner to Ireland. Good quick thinking there by the English skipper. Couldn't get a boot to it. Swung his thigh at it. So Clements with the corner for Northern Ireland. A deep one it is. Dugan at the far side. Over his head and over the line for a goal kick. Oh, that was a rather snap-happy goal kick there by Banks because Dugan was lurking. Moore to Lee. Hamilton to Best. England at the moment looking far from comfortable as Best shows so many of those skills. But the pass at the end of them wasn't quite as good as it might have been. Madeley, McFarland. Nelson. To O'Kane. Best for Dugan. Madeley is after him. And there really wasn't very much room for Dugan to do anything, but he's got a throw. David Clements of Coventry to take it. And Derek Dugan's made a run out towards that touchline. In fact, it was a decoy run, but McMordy hadn't got in quickly enough, and England get it away. Clements again. Best. And Cooper back for Banks. Cooper. And Moore. Cooper to Madeley. Peters over on that touchline for him. Here's Martin Peters. He's got Lee ahead of him and he's got Ball going through the middle at some speed. Here's Lee now. Played very nicely by Lee. Turned back there, but not turned back quite enough for Alan Ball. But a very good-looking break indeed there by England. McFarland has had to go a long way back to pick that one up. And now it's with Banks. Ball. Story. Madeley. McFarland. Madeley again. And again an Irish head gets there first. This time it's Hunter. Best. Ireland, remember, with this strong wind behind them in this first half. Nicholson. Best again. Making the break and trying to cut that back in characteristic fashion. Past Story, but he couldn't get it past this number 4. But it goes off Story for the corner. Again, it'll be Clements with it. Rice has gone right in there, hustling Clark. And Banks getting it and losing it, but getting it at the second go. O'Kane. And the referee, in fact, giving George Best offside. I would have thought that there was a strong case that Madeley on the far side had played him on. Clark. And O'Kane. Story. And Lee getting the better of McMordy. Attacking his full-back Nelson. Running out of space. But now it'll come for Madeley. Turn first time. Chivers to jump for this one, but again, Hunter to get there before him. And certainly Alan Hunter has looked after Chivers extremely well in this first half. Moore now. But now Clements. Dugan getting ahead to it, being half pulled back by McFarlane. Yes, McFarlane certainly was pulling at Dugan's shirt. George Best with the kick. No, he's going to leave it for Nicholson. Nelson. Nicholson. McMordy. Almost on half-time now as Rice turns it in again. Dugan at the far side. And again, the catching of Banks is impeccable. Paul Madeley. Nicholson with his head, but straight to ball. Lee. Peters. Cooper. And Peters again. Lee. Story right up in there as well. Peters. And Ireland's throw. And there goes the whistle for half-time. No score and a lot of pressure from Ireland on this English defence. We take a break now, and after that break we have the second half of Northern Ireland against England, followed by the verdict of the panel. So we leave you with the half-time score of Northern Ireland 0, England 0, and we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, and here we go then for the start of the second half. 0-0, and Nicholson now for Ireland. Madeley, a long one to look for Chivers. England, remember, with this wind hard at their backs now. Very often footballers say they like a breeze in their faces, they can judge their passes the better, but I think probably the wind is just a little too fierce, and it's probably slightly better to have it at your back. Moore with the free kick then for England. Hunter getting it away to his skipper Derek Dugan. Best. Nicholson, and on the far side Hamilton. Rice. And Hamilton turning it into Clements. Nicholson once more looking with time to measure his cross. McMordy. Best. On his body, on his toe a couple of times, trying to sneak by Madeley, manages it once, manages it twice, and then sweeps that pass out to Nicholson, and under Banks' crossbar. Lovely little piece of entertainment though from George Best, and a bit of good earthy challenging from Dugan. Clark trying to flick that on for Lee. England's throw. And Paul Madeley had a useful first appearance for England so far. George Best again. Rice. Clouds beginning to gather again, and the first hint of rain as McMordie finds Hamilton. The throw going to Ireland. Dugan. Oh, taken from the back by McFarland. A bad tackle by McFarland, who really had no chance whatsoever of making contact with that ball before scything Dugan to the ground. And so Ireland's free kick, and Pat Rice with it. Dugan is there, Best and Clements, and Hamilton all waiting for it. Best shouldered off the ball, and it comes through to McMordie. Now Madeley. And O'Kane in very quickly. O'Kane and Hunter between them have done some good strong stuff at the back for Ireland. Here's Clark. Story. Madeley. To Moore. Cooper. And O'Kane will get there for Ireland. Stopped by Peters. And Cooper again. Peter Story. Chivers coming hard on this one, but O'Kane in fact finding Clements. McFarland to Story. Moore. And again Rice getting there first for Ireland. Hamilton turning it in for Best. Beautiful pass swept out there, but Moore doing very well indeed for England. Something happened there, obviously, off the ball that the referee noticed, and a lot of people couldn't have noticed. And the free kick nonetheless given to Northern Ireland. And Nicholson to take it. Dugan's made a run towards the near post. Banks under pressure and doing well again for England. Madeley. A long one forward, and look at Clark going now, but in fact the ball was carried by the wind to Jennings. Peters, Lee. Story, Cooper. Pass one, past another, great run there by Cooper, finally stopped by O'Kane, turned across again, and Jennings just getting a hand to it from Peters before it fell for Clark. So England's corner, and it'll be Martin Peters to take it to Terry Cooper. Ireland a little slow coming towards Cooper, and Madeley at the far side, and Jennings just over that crossbar from Paul Madeley. Judged that header nicely from Madeley, Pat Jennings, just to flick it over that crossbar to provide ball with this corner for England. Peters going in again, and this time Jennings once more gathering that ball and keeping it. McFarland winning that one in the air and winning it well. O'Kane now, but Story. Rice getting ahead to it for Ireland, and Hamilton. Cassidy wanting to come on, and Billy Bingham, his manager, pushing him on. Newcastle United player. And it's Eric McMordie who's coming off. Cassidy trying straight away to get in on the action. But in fact giving away the free kick to England on their far side. There's the free kick. My goodness, there was a hit on the head there from O'Kane. Certainly there was nothing malicious there as Chivers went for that one. His foot perhaps fractionally high, and at the same time O'Kane was ducking down for that low kick and caught it in the face. O'Kane, who really has had a fine game so far for Northern Ireland, with Hunter at the back, two big strong men who've tackled strongly and missed so very little in the air. So Ireland's free kick and Pat Jennings with it. Moore to Madeley to Cooper. Bobby Moore again. Chivers trying desperately to get ahead to that ball. Clark in fact turning it on now for Peters. And Ball trying to turn it through, and it goes off Rice's foot for a corner to England. Madeley's making a run up for this one. Ball to take it. Looks as though he wants to take it quickly. And wide to Cooper, but he doesn't come off because it goes straight to Derek Dougan. Nicely inside there for Hamilton. Turned on again for Best. And Clements. A rare Irish break in this second half, but stopped by McFarlane, and now it's Cooper. Clark waiting too long, and Nelson in quickly for Northern Ireland. And Cassidy doing well to keep that one in, but the ball going off. Hamilton, and Ball will have to take that back 3 or 4 yards, and in fact it's Madeley who takes the throw. Peter Story. Chivers, Clark. Peters over on the left. Cooper. Story. And Peters again. Chivers going in towards the near post, and a fine save by Jennings. A beautifully thought out move though by England. Those lovely little devastating near post crosses from Martin Peters, and Chivers, who gets on the end of a White Hart Lane, got on the end of this one at Windsor Park, and ironically it was his Tottenham teammate Pat Jennings who was equal to it. A real Tottenham trio there, Peters, Chivers and Jennings. You get the feeling it's going to take an inspired bit of play like that to get England in front, because Ireland at the moment defending in such strength and in such numbers, and with a great deal of authority as well. Also a feeling though that with the wind hard in their faces, that Ireland are going to do something, have to do something a bit special to get a goal themselves. Well, Hunter climbing hard on Chivers' back to try and get an extra yard or so, but he's played very well, that number 5. And the referee, in fact, not liking Hunter's descent. And Hamilton lining up that wall, which is standing a good 4.5 yards away instead of 10. But surely the referee's not, yes, he must get them back a bit further than that. As ever, they're reluctant to go. Peters, in fact, leaving it for Francis Lee to burst one, but in fact, it gets against the wall and behind for the corner to England. Ball with the corner towards that near post, but over Chivers' head. Ball versus Best, and Ireland's throw. 20 minutes of the second half gone, 25 minutes to go, and still no score. Nelson with the throw. Ball, Story. And now Best. Sweeping pass to the right there, and in fact floats beautifully to the feet of Jimmy Nicholson. Cassidy trying to turn it inside again for Nicholson, but not giving Nicholson too much of a chance. O'Kane. Clements. But straight into an English no man's land, and it's Paul Madeley now for the white shirts of England. Ball going forward, hoping to flick it on, and hit hard from the back by Hunter. Stunned for a moment as Hunter went in that one with his head. Best for Ireland. Clements. Nelson's made a run down the left for him. That's the ball for Nelson. But ball to bring it away for England. Lee. Trying to attack O'Kane, and O'Kane doing very well indeed again for Northern Ireland, the number 4. Ball with the throw. And now Madeley. Bobby Moore. Hunter. And Clark. Cooper. Hunter again winning that one in the air from Chivers. Clark and overhead, and Pat Jennings at full stretch once more. What a spectacular goal that would have been from Clark. Hit on the turn and on the volley, and Jennings doing mightily to keep it out. There's the corner from Ball. Chivers going in on it, and in fact it's Hamilton who hacks it away for Northern Ireland. Moore to Ball. Against the body of Hamilton, and in the second time with better luck, but again straight into the arms of Pat Jennings. Ball. Chivers and O'Kane winning it. Hunter, his ally at the back there, getting it away. Nicholson, who's fought ceaselessly in the middle of the field for Northern Ireland, getting Cassidy away now. Rice. Nicholson. But he couldn't turn it inside for Best. In any case, Best was being so closely watched by Ball. But it's Ireland's throw. And Nicholson, who throws a good long one, as Irish voices are being raised again. Dugan looking for it, perhaps feeling he was pushed. But Nicholson perhaps with another chance. No, because Cooper's put that one into touch, but it'll be another throw, and I would think another long one. Certainly there's a lot of bumping and boring in those penalty areas when these long throws are coming in. Another long one, lower trajectory, and this time coming off an England defender. In fact, it was off Martin Peters for an Irish corner. Clements to take it. Best right in that 6-yard area. Dugan at the far post. And Dugan getting a hit to it and flicked away behind this time by Martin Peters. Banks, in fact, remonstrating with the referee, saying that he was impeded by Dugan. But another corner to Ireland. Clements once more to take it. The crowd roaring on. And now will it come to Dugan again? Nelson trying to blast one in. But that went off McFarland. And instantly, Harold Shepperson, the England trainer, called on. McFarland, it seems to be in a fair bit of pain by the way those England teammates are swarming around him. Flags being waved mightily up in the crowd behind that English goal. Nicholson is getting ready for another long throw. And I remember when England beat Ireland 3-1 here 2 years ago, it was from this identical position and from a long throw by Nicholson that Ireland scored their only goal of the game. So now can they repeat it? Nicholson with a long throw. Dugan trying to get ahead to it again. Nelson blasting it through! And Banks, did he get a hand to it? He did! And a fine save it was from Sammy Nelson. So another corner for Ireland. The crowd now really cheering them on. And that English penalty area is packed. Banks leaping again and fisting it away as far as Lee, and that came off Nelson for a goal kick. Clark now for England, but losing contact, and Nicholson's there, but hard into him was Martin Peters, and now Clark again for England. To Madeley. Chivers again, rising well for this one. Ball going in on the Ireland have missed it for the moment. Ball and Lee, can they fashion something? At the moment it seems they can't. Madeley going in again. Clark trying to hit it first time, and Chivers over that crossbar. Looking a little puzzled because on this side of the field the linesman was flagging for offside. But the referee has said no, he wasn't. In fact, Jennings placing that ball for a goal kick. Clark, Cooper. And O'Kane back to Jennings. Little under a quarter of an hour left, no score. Nicholson. With Rice outside him. That's the ball for Pat Rice. Full-back who's got a lot of pace when he comes forward, and was he obstructed? He was by Peters. And so a free kick from what could be a very dangerous position now for Northern Ireland. The streamers now are really flying into that English penalty area, and here comes the free kick into that area too. Cassidy going for it, but Banks in fact getting a hand to it first. O'Kane. Best. Story after him, but Best keeping possession. Saying, come to me like a matador. Wanting Story to come in and attack him. And a good-looking little cross there, but Bobby Moore just getting ahead to it. Ball turning it inside. Story. And now Cooper. Ireland coming away again. Rice with so much pace to him. Cassidy turned in again, looking for Hamilton, turned on, and he couldn't quite make contact with Dugan. And again, Banks nearly losing possession of that ball in his own penalty area. Nicholson turning it back again. Dugan offside. But in the last 5 minutes, Ireland really have come hard for England. Hunter getting up well again. Story. Lee. And Madeley. Bobby Moore. Cooper prepared to let that go into touch for England's throw. And then to leave it for Peters. Best. Tricking Peters. And sweeping it wide there for Clemens to come in, but Madeley just getting a foot to it. A touch was enough. Ireland's throw. Dugan trying to get away from McFarlane and finding it difficult. And he's going to find it difficult in that confined space, but it's Ireland's throw again. I would have thought they might wait for Jimmy Nicholson. That's just what they are doing. To put another long one in. Somehow defenders always have difficulty judging the trajectory of these long throws, and there's Nicholson's long one. Nelson heading it back again. Now Best. O'Kane. Oh, against Francis Lee. And he's going on. 3 of England against 2 of Ireland now. On for Clark, and he's onside. Now will Clark do it? This must be the England goal, and it's scored by Alan Clark. And the crowd are booing. They felt there was a suspicion of offside about it. And in fact, the Irish players are surrounding the Scottish referee, claiming that Lee was offside in the first
There are
place.
appeals for handball and offside. You saw the moment there that Francis Lee played the ball, but what you can't tell was where Clark was when it was played. You can see there that he was fractionally up on the defender, and in the end there were 3 England players who could have put that ball in the net.
No, he's got the courage of his convictions, the referee, and he's simply ordering those Irish players to come away from the linesman, and so Clark has put England ahead, controversially, with 10 minutes to go. So 9 minutes left and England ahead. And now a free kick for Ireland. Rice. Oh, and Hamilton just missed that one, but Story didn't, but it's not away by a long way yet. Best. Nelson's gone plunging up the left for him. Best has got problems of his own. And Story then finding ball. Best again. Trying to shrug off Lee. Rice on the far side. Hunter now, Chivers has beaten him. What can Chivers do with this one? He tried to play it square. Clark is there, ball is there, and so is O'Kane. Lee coming hard on it, and O'Kane again. 8 minutes now to go. Nicholson. Rice a long one forward for Ireland. Dugan getting up to try and find it inside for Hamilton, but Hamilton, it seemed, was just lacking that yard of pace to get to it before Cooper. Ireland's throw. Alan Hunter. Hunter a long one forward. Difficult time now for Ireland, this goal down and something like 7 minutes left, and the wind hard in their faces. Moore, Chivers. "44 years, remember, since Ireland have beaten England in Belfast, and they've really got to do something now to stop that particular depressing run." Clark to ball. Clark again. Madeley. Clark. England keeping possession with a touch of arrogance about it, as well as McFarlane plays a long one back for Gordon Banks. Ball now. handball against Nicholson. Bobby Moore to take it. And not too many targets to aim for, certainly none that aren't marked, and marked very closely. There's Chivers. Farland. And Madeley. 5 minutes to go. As we're now in injury time. And Hunter, who really has subdued Chivers, to bring it away. Cassidy. Hamilton. Oh, Hamilton very nearly finding Nicholson on the far side. Cooper to get it away. Rice. So little time left now for Ireland. As Hamilton brings it forward again. Tries the 1-2 with Best. And Hamilton going on. And Cooper just slipping in the nick of time. Clark. Bobby Moore. Hunter again getting ahead to it before Martin Chivers. Clements, referee looking hard at his watch. And there now is no time left. No, it's a free kick. And so perhaps there is just the odd second or two left. And a foul then by Best on Lee. As Manchester City meets Manchester United. George Best's frustration coming to the surface. And a little bit of petulance that George Best perhaps ought to try to get out of his system. Lee now. And there goes the final whistle, and a victory for England, scored by Alan Clark, and a controversial goal that divides these two sides then at Windsor Park. So England are the winners. Clark is the scorer. Gordon Banks the hero with some great saves for England early on in the game. And so the final score then at Windsor Park is Northern Ireland 0, England 1.
So there we are then, a victory for England, but this is what tonight's paper in Belfast is saying. We was robbed. England's goal should not have been allowed. And there's a particularly strong quote on the front page from Mr. Harry Cavan, the Irish FA president, who's also a vice president of FIFA. He says the cooperation between referee and linesman left a lot to be desired. I think they were not up to international class. Sir Alf Ramsey said he thought the better team won. He thought England had come under pressure only a couple of times in the match, and on that controversial handball incident, he said he didn't know there was any dispute about a handball. He thought the Irish players were appealing for offside, and he added, I might have agreed that Alan Clark was offside. Derek, so Sir Alf thought the better side had won, and he couldn't see anything wrong with that handball.
Well, there's a possibility, Sir Alf, maybe watching the Wales and Scotland match on one of those television sets inside the studio. I think that after watching it there, I didn't realise it was such a good game and that we played so well, but possibly we were talking about this in the bath after the game, and we thought that Gordon Banks unquestionably was their best player, although Pat Jennings played very, very well.
Yeah, but better side won is what Sir Alf said.
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I thought that on reflection, really, if you could say it, really, I thought we had about probably 55% of the play and 45%, and then beaten by a terrible goal. And looking at the VTR here in the studio here tonight, that George Best's goal was a very good goal. The one that he clipped out of his hand. And Paddy Jennings was saying that he played it against Huddersfield a couple of weeks ago, and they scored exactly the same goal. It's very frustrating because there was an awful lot of pressure on us, Brian, before the game. As you said, that we haven't won since 1927, and it's all been, it's all come on top of us, and unfortunately, it's went against us to a bad goal.
Indeed.
Well, now we're going to ask the man on the spot, the question we've all been wanting to know, Malcolm Allison, Derek Dougan's personal performance in that match.
I thought Derek played excellent today. He had a very good game. He was beating people, going by them, he was good in the air, played brilliantly, I thought.
Would anybody disagree with that on our colleague on the panel in that performance?
After the way he played today, I don't think Derek is as old as that I thought he was, actually.
What did you particularly like about him?
I thought he led the whole line well, you know, and his gamemanship is brilliant, you know. The things he does on the pitch, you know, are terrific.
I imagine he's hearing that now. For a moment I didn't think he could, but that lovely smile there when you were congratulating suggested he did. Bob McNabb?
I think with a little bit more support, Jimmy, you know, he could have really set them alight. You know, he did very well, but he was left stranded on a few occasions. And his knockdowns in the box, when he was getting up to the high balls, were very good. But I think they were short of a few men up front to Ireland.
What about Sir Alf's quote, that the better team won? We've all seen the match. We've seen it twice, actually. What do you think of that?
Well, I thought that Ireland were very unlucky. I thought it was a very good goal that George Best scored, and I thought that they had a couple of shots that Banks knocked one over the bar, one hit the crossbar header, and England only had one good shot from Alan Clark. I don't think that either side deserved to win. I thought it was draw would have been a fair result tonight.
Yeah, and in fact we did have a prediction. Oh, not for that match. You didn't predict a draw for that. You predicted England win, Bob, didn't you? It was the other one. Let's have a look at that goal now. But I want to know what you thought about that controversial goal. We've got Francis Lee was involved in it. We've already said, even Sir Alf has admitted there was some discretion about the offside. But now we can see the original incident. There's the kick. Now watch Francis Lee. He's facing that, and he puts his hands up. You might say to protect his face, but I reckon he reacted quickly enough to know what he was doing. Bounce the ball on. Now we can judge the offside part. There's the ball played forward, but you can't tell where Alan Clark was at the moment it was played, but you can see that now he's leading. Pat Jennings gets a bit mixed up there, rushes out, leaves the goal open, and there we see the end of it. What about it? Malcolm Allison, Francis Lee, was he awake, and was that intentional handball?
No, it wasn't intentional handball. I think he was protecting his face as the fellow hit the ball. I think he went like this.
You'd have to it must be intentional handball, Malcolm, if he's putting his hands up like that to protect his face. I mean, if he didn't actually put his hands up, it would have hit him in the face. Of course it's an intentional handball. It must have been a foul, surely.
Good job,
Francis. There was an incident earlier in that game, if you remember, where somebody was penalised for handball when they turned their back. Yeah. Do you remember? And Francis was facing, and he went like that and blocked the ball.
It's another one of those things, Jim, where it's the discretion of the referee. I think that when a player protects himself like that, especially from his face, you know, there's not an intentional hands.
Derek Dougan, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think that if it hadn't been Francis Lee, I wonder what Malcolm's comment would have made the same comments. But if you'd have froze that still there, Jim, it's just a shame really that Liam O'Kane, after he hit Francis Lee, when he stopped that with his hands, he stopped still. You know, he stood still. And unfortunately, I wish he had kept going there. But it's just one of those things, and possibly we've gone out now with probably more glory than ever.
Yes, I think it's a familiar story, Ireland getting glory from these matches, but I think they deserve more than glory today. I think they deserved at least 1 point from that particular thing. Bob McNabb, as a neutral, a kind-faced gentleman, what about that incident?
I thought he was onside, slightly onside, and about the handball, really, it's just like Malcolm said, it's one of those things, you know, sometimes give handball. The ball actually only travelled about 3.5, 4 yards. I don't think he could give hands. Franny protected his face. It's just one of those things.
Well, if I'd have been a referee in that match, I think I would have given handball definitely, because France's reactions are quick, and I reckon he knew what he was doing. But it's a matter of opinion. Soccer thrives on argument. Let's go down to a bit more argument. The man of the match today, leaving aside Derek Dougan.
Well, I thought that Alan Hunter played exceptionally well for Ireland, but if you want to say a man of the match, I've got to give it to George Best.
He partied with the ball more than usual, Paddy, didn't he, in this match?
Yeah, he didn't run as much with it today as he usually does. Probably if he had have run a bit more with it up front when Derek was left isolated in a lot of cases, he might have done a lot more damage. I thought two of the better players, I think one of the best players on the pitch was Gordon Banks. He made some fantastic saves, and how Alf Ramsey can turn around and say that the better team won defeats me completely.
I thought that Ireland pressurised Gordon Banks a lot, especially when he was kicking the ball out of his hands when the goal came that George scored. And they made him kick a lot of bad balls, Paddy, today, didn't
But
they?
he's not a very good kicker of the ball at the best of times.
Hold on,
Banks,
we've got a man on the spot there. Derek Dugan. Did Ireland deliberately make it difficult for Banks to kick from
Well, it's
start
funny
to
you
finish?
say that, really, because the Arsenal players were telling me, Pat Rice and Sammy Nelson, that he didn't kick the ball particularly well in the 2 matches in the semi-final. So we thought we'd try and stand in front of him, make him kick it with his left foot. And as you see, he screw-whiffed a lot of the balls, and they went to our players. And we did, actually. It was intentional. And this obviously is gamesmanship. And fortunately, it may have come off on a few occasions, but we just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net from those bad kicks.
As a coach, Malcolm, how much of a weakness is this? I mean, Banks had a superb game today, but how much of a weakness is this in a goalkeeper, and how much could that affect Banks for England over the next couple of years?
Well, this causes their team a lot of trouble. I mean, if he's kicking bad balls, and the opposition keep picking them up, he puts your team continually under pressure, and it's a very good tactic to use. And goalkeepers are going to have to think about this seriously. I mean, lots of clubs have done it, but not as much as I've seen today.
Well, in fact, of course, he did get the ball in the net when he was worrying Banks. He got a bonus, far more than I think he reckoned for, and he got the ball in the back of the net from this. And I know there was a certain amount of opinion and argument among us that may well have been.
And the first goal for Bulgaria was scored by Bonev. In the 59th minute, Kolev scored the second goal for Bulgaria, and the football match ended 3-0. That's all.
It's certainly no game for brittle bones here. Tusak through the middle. Rogers didn't cut it out, and Fedotov tucks it away for the simplest of simple goals. Eamon Rogers couldn't intercept. Fedotov, the man who got the goal for them. Oh, beautiful ball for Kolatov. That's a splendid goal, but it's not been allowed. Interception by Campbell. Conroy. Henry Conroy, and here's the invasion. Here's the invasion.
Mål nummer 2 er en kendsgerning. Ja, det var strålende gjort det der. Glimrende. går de til glimrende. Og så er det 4-1.
Ja, jag får hoppa in istället för Christer Kristensson. Vi ska se hur det går. Och så finns där Björn Nordqvist, nummer 4. Välkommen tillbaka, säger vi till honom. Där är Ralf Edström framme och nickar in mål. Det var Edström igen som gick upp med bollen till Brusselage. Går han fram mot första stolpen. Ja, den var lite här var där. Och så lyckas det igen fast han har ryggen mot målet. Och så blev det också idag 4-0. Och alltså Bosse Sörna. Men det är andra som kan nicka, exempelvis Claes Kronqvist och Roland Sandberg. Som har cancer på han ska gå fram och bredsida in i vänstra stolp. Nej, han tar upp på krysset. Det är lite väl vågat. Alltså Spiteri. Så vinner Edström där med sin vänster på volley och gör sitt tredje mål, Sveriges sjunde. Där med sin vänster på volley och gör sitt tredje mål, Sveriges sjunde.
Marcial, Amancio y tiro de Valdés que ha rechazado el portero, va a tirar Amancio, tira y gol. Allí dificultoso despeje de José Luis y ahí está el ímpetu de Tonono, oportunidad ahora del delantero centro. Pucha. A su derecha Stefanovic. Gol. Incrementándose la ventaja yugoslava de haber acertado con el tiro a puerta el jugador Vladevic, pero ha cambiado. Asensi ha conseguido el...
Steen turned well. Oh, good ball. Carr. That's a goal. Oh, yes, indeed. There wasn't much wrong with that. Steen. For Mortimer. Good ball. Little cross, and Steen is there. What a goal. He's got it. Colin Steen. He's in the box with Doyle, Marsh, Bell. Booth gets in there, and that's Marsh. Yes, indeed. It's 2-1. Franny Lee. Rodney Marsh. Oh, and a great chance for Summerby. That's 2-2. Mike Coop did that neatly enough. That's a fair cross, and Alderson. He's got it. Brian Alderson. Rangers really a little muddled there, finally getting themselves out of trouble with Venables, and then they're being put in with a chance now as Bowles takes it up. Phillips stopped for a moment, and Irwin a fine save. Gibbons, Hazel, and Busby a long one forward. Venables beautifully on now for Bowles. Oh, a tremendous goal! A fantastic goal by Queen's Park Rangers. Leach turning it off for Venables. Gibbons has gone roaring on ahead for him. This is Gibbons. Oh, and what a shot! Gillard again. The long one forward this time for Leach. Got Gibbons in the middle, and Gibbons now will hit this one! Oh, a fine goal for Queen's Park Rangers!
For Anderson. Aston on the left, being watched now by Malone. Ashurst, clear, but straight to Hallam, not a good clearance. A little bit panicky perhaps. This is Fern hooking it on for Hallam. Should be in with a chance. And a good goal that. A very good goal that. Now Jimmy Ryan coming up. Anderson still free. Back for Ryan. Awkward one. This one. Must score. So there's the second goal. And again, bad marking at the back by Sunderland, letting in that Luton Town attack. And Ryan it is who's